What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over ranking our top centers in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM on a tier list. Now, before I dive any further into this, guys, if you haven't watched the power forward, small forward, point guard, or obviously now the center tier list, make sure to do that. Also, smash that subscribe button if you are new. Now, we're not going to talk about the hidden gems cards because, look, they're not auctionable. So, like, me giving you guys a hidden gem tier list honestly doesn't make like a whole lot of sense, or including them in here, because they're literally impossible to get. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that adds up for you guys. Hopefully, like, you guys aren't mad about it. Like, I don't control it, but it is what it is. 2K made the game the way they did, and it is what it is. I can only make content that I think can be helpful for you guys. Now we're gonna start it off with Artist Gilmore's Pink Diamond. And after each and every card, I'm going to show you guys exactly what their stats and badges as well as animations look like. I think it's important to do. For Artist Gilmore, he obviously is super tall. The problem with the card is that 65 speed. I mean, again, defensively, especially on the interior, he's going to be fine. Speed is just too low. Honestly, I think C tier for Artist Gilmore. Shawn Kemp, even worse. And I'm not trying to hate on Shawn Kemp, but I do not like this card. When this card came out, wasn't high on him, and I'm still not high on him. Release is okay. Defensively, okay. Probably better at power forward. D tier for Shawn Kemp. Borderline F tier. The card stinks. Big Brad up next. Brad is at minimum B tier. At minimum. I really like what Brad Daugherty does. Only a 55 3 ball, but I want you guys to know and realize you can hit with that occasionally. Now, consistently, are you going to be wanting to shoot threes with Brad? Maybe not. But you can hit with the 82 speed, 95 interior, great defense, 7 feet tall. Brad can play B tier. Not higher because the 3 ball isn't great, but he is definitely B tier. Dirk up next. I think Dirk deserves A tier, possibly even S tier. I've used some bigs on this game, and Dirk's up there with the best of them. Do wish this speed was slightly better, and obviously you do have to give him some more defensive badges, but I don't hate Dirk. Defensively, can hold his own. His release is solid. He does not miss from the 3-point line. I'm going to throw him at S tier for now. Like, I think Dirk does enough to be S tier, in my opinion. It's where he's at for now. Jokic up next. I don't know. C tier maybe. Kind of an opposite player of Artist Gilmore. But he's not horrible. Knocks down shots. Just defensively is not great. 6'11", again, defensive stats aren't great. He still is better, though, than Shawn Kemp. Andre up next. C tier for Andre Drummond. At least with Andre Drummond, if you've got him, you know he's going to compete defensively. And I think I respect that, right? 84 speed, solid defense. He just doesn't have any Hall of Famers. I'm going to move Drummond down to D tier. He's not horrible, though. Greg Monroe, Timberwolves legend. Greg Monroe, not ideal. I mean, for a center, he's just not ideal. Can't shoot. His speed's not great. I just can't really, this card's not as good like as I want him to be. Hall of Fame brick wall is nice, but Greg Monroe only 6'10". The card really stinks. Şengün up next. Şengün was Jokic before Pink Diamond Jokic, and I think that's a pretty accurate and fair assessment of the card. He's not worthless, but he literally was Jokic before Jokic, as far as on 2K. Obviously, Jokic in real life is way better than Şengün. I mean, they play styles kind of similar. I think Şengün's got to go down to D tier. Hakeem Olajuwon, and this is tough because he is better than Dirk. He's got to go in S tier. Hakeem is one of your best centers in the entire game. Easy addition into S tier. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to move Dirk down. We'll see. Hakeem just is better than Dirk. And I told you guys I was going to show everybody's stats, so here you go with Hakeem. Card is perfect, guys. Literally fantastic on the court. Next up, guys, we've got Miles Turner. A tier. Perfect addition for A tier. People ask me all the time, Ty, why do you not get Miles Turner? And, I mean, it is kind of a difficult question to answer because the card's fantastic. Only he is 6'11". I feel like his player build's not that good, but knocks down shots, plays good defense. A tier for Miles Turner. Jermaine O'Neal. The good, the bad, the ugly for Jermaine O'Neal. I want to start with this. When I think about Jermaine O'Neal, the first thing I think about is that release because it stinks. It's borderline unusable. However, let's look at the bigger picture here for Jermaine O'Neal. Even if he was an inside big, guys, he's got 27 base badges, 6 on Hall of Fame, including some good ones. He's 6'11". Defensively, he's fantastic, can handle the ball. Even if he was an inside big and you didn't have to respect his 3 ball at all, he's better than Brad. And so, I'm going to go A tier with Jermaine O'Neal. Because his defense is elite. He can handle the ball. And yes, if you leave him wide open, his release is bad. but he's going to knock down shots. He's A tier for me. He is. And I know people are not going to like it, but that's the simple truth. DeAndre Jordan, D tier. I don't even want to show you guys his stats. This card is not that good. And I know defensively he's going to do some things. DJ is not that good on the court. 75 speed at this stage is troll. Does have some of those defensive badges, but he's not great. Wilt Chamberlain can't shoot the ball. However, if you do like inside bigs, guys, Wilt Chamberlain can absolutely play. I don't like inside bigs, but if you like inside bigs, he can play. 89 speed, might be the fastest guy on this entire list. Perfect defense. He's got to go in B tier at least. Wilt is good. Jaren Jackson Jr., S tier. His release is good. He plays good defense. I know he's only 6'10", but I have more success with Jaren than a lot of guys that I'll get to in this video. But Jaren is for sure S tier. Chris Bosh up next. I think A tier is the right spot for Bosh. People want to argue that Bosh isn't good or Bosh isn't, usable, all these things. Bosh is fine. He's not perfect, right? Speed-wise, not perfect. He kind of reminds me of a lot of kind of Miles Turner. I have a lot of similarities between the two cards. Cycly up next. I kind of want to go B tier with Cycly. I don't mind Cycly whatsoever. Why? Let's talk about it. Defensively, Cycly is an absolute beast. Offensively, he's not great, but he can green the occasional 3-ball with the 73 ball. Cycly's good, guys. He's good. If you got him for free, he still can play B tier. Kareem, S tier, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People want to argue about his 3-ball. I don't really care, guys. You can green with this Kareem's 3-ball. And even if you want to look at him as an inside big, that's fine. He is perfect. Kareem, S tier. Next up, guys, we see Jamal McClure. He's not bad. And I know some people are going to be like, really, Ty? Why are you hyping this card up? Jamal McClure is not bad. Now, yes, Wilt should be maybe higher. You could argue Wilt at that A tier. It just comes down to I don't like inside bigs personally on this game. For Jamal McClure, you're looking at a really decent card, honestly, with McClure. I think he's a card, gives you a lot on the floor. 84 speed, solid defense. 3-ball, not great, but he can green it occasionally. I think B tier. I got to move Wilt up. I don't want to, but I simply have to for this video. Amari Stoudemire, D tier. Amari's cards are not good this year. I don't care. Even the Galaxy Opal Amari is not great. D tier for Diamond Amari Stoudemire. Willis Reed up next, S tier. I'm holding true to it. I like Willis Reed over Dirk Nowitzki. And you can ask me why. Let's start with this. Willis has a quicker jump shot. Willis defensively is going to be better. He's just the slightly better option. Now, I know he might be slightly undersized for what you're wanting, but when I'm looking at the more complete option, I think I've got to go with Willis Reed, who has one of the quickest jump shots on the entire game. Chet up next. I feel like the more I play against Chet, the more I like the card. So, I don't know. Is A tier the right spot or S tier? I'm going to actually go S tier. I know his strength, and I got to move Dirk up. I got to. I don't even like putting this many guys at S tier, but I have to. Thing about Chet is this. His strength is low, but I honestly don't think it holds the card back that much. Chet is an absolute beast on this game. Vucevic is going to stretch the court, but defensively stinks. I'm going to go C tier. His release is really good. Pink Diamond Shaq, wherever Wilt is, that's where Shaq is going. Another one of those inside bigs. The problem for Shaq is he literally can't shoot the ball whatsoever. Like, that's the big problem for Shaq. But again, as far as an interior big, gets the job done at a pretty high level. Joel Embiid, one of the best centers in the entire game. I don't know exactly how I'd rank these guys at S tier. I'm going to have to maybe move some guys down. But Joel Embiid, one of the best centers in the entire game. Theo Ratliff stinks, guys. Like, I thought when Theo Ratliff came out, the card might be okay. This card stinks. 25 3-ball. Yes, as far as an inside big, he's actually not bad, but he's only 6'10". And so with some of these other inside bigs, you're looking at 7'1", 7'1", then he's only 6'10". I guess defensively he does enough. He's better than Drummond, better than DJ. C tier, I guess. Although I really do not love the card in Theo Ratliff. Moses Malone up next. Gonna shoot the ball decent. Play decent defense. I like him probably more at the 4 than the 3. Moses, or 4 than the 5. Moses isn't horrible. I think A tier is where he belongs. I just wish his 3-ball was slightly higher for Moses Malone. DeAndre Ayton, B tier. Maybe even A tier. And you can say I'm gassing DeAndre Ayton, but let me ask you this. What does this card not do? 80 speed. 74 3-ball. Defensively can go out there and compete. He is B tier. Good hot spots, good release. But I want you guys to know and realize I love DeAndre Ayton. And even compared to like Big Brad, Ayton could be higher. Honestly, you could argue A tier for Ayton. I'm not going to put him at A tier, but I just wanted you to know you could argue that. F tier for Duckworth. Sabonis up next. And here's where I want to spend some time talking about Sabonis. A couple of days ago, 2K released challenges, which you could grind for a free Sabonis. And people were excited. This Sabonis card is dirt. There is no way we as a community can get excited for 2K giving us a free Sabonis challenges. The card stinks. And I've got to vent for you guys because people are like, Ty, you're wrong on this. This Sabonis is a W for the community. This card is a W? This card is dog water. Literally, I could go drink my dog's crusty water and it would taste better than me getting this Sabonis card. I promise you. This Sabonis card is dirt, guys. He's dirt. I'm putting him at D tier. I don't respect him at all. Victor Wembanyama up next. S tier, the best center in the game. I don't even think it's particularly close. Now, I don't necessarily think Wemby's perfect, and I'll explain why here for you guys in this video that are like, Ty, why do you not love Wemby? He is 7'4". I just wish his speed was slightly higher. I think that's really what it comes down to for Wemby. He is the best card in the game, though. S tier for Wembanyama. D-Rob up next. I'm putting him at S tier. I do not love David Robinson, though. Used him in King of the Court, and he kind of was a letdown for me. Genuinely, he was a letdown. I just don't know how to separate any of these guys at S tier because you could argue D-Rob's better than Willis Reed, but for me, after using him, I would bet that I'd have more success with Willis Reed than D-Rob. Genuinely. Like, I don't know. D-Rob to me just was not good, and maybe I should give him another try. Because, I mean, look at his stats, guys. I want to show you guys. The stats of David Robinson are those of a card that should play forever, but it's just the eye test. Like, the eye test for me and D-Rob just was not there. Jeff Rulin used the card for a while. He could green some shots. I just don't think he's better than a guy like Cycli. He's fine. Again, day one card, he was fine. But at this stage, don't recommend using him. DeMarcus Cousins really isn't good. Cousins is a card. When he came out, I was like, I mean, he's probably going to be a stretch big. Card's probably going to be solid. But as I, got to looking at the card, he kind of stinks. 66 speed. Defensively, he does nothing. Honestly, Boogie, you're going to D tier. You stink. D12 up next. As far as an inside big, I think he's right in there with Theo Ratliff. It just doesn't feel right having Wilt and Shaq this far apart, though. It doesn't at all. I'm going to move Dwight to B tier. I still think Wilt's better. I still think Shaq's better, but I do think D12 deserves B tier. Tim Duncan, I will never hate you. I will never, ever, ever hate Tim Duncan, ever. And so if you want Tim Duncan slander, go somewhere else. He's got 79 three ball, or 79 speed. I know the three ball says a 48, but I've used Tim Duncan enough to know that that's a lie. Look at his hot spots, guys. Look at the hot spots of Tim Duncan. You cannot tell me that Tim Duncan is not good on this game. Tim Duncan, green shots, plays good defense. I like Tim Duncan, guys. I'm gonna move him up to B tier. Now, you know what? I want to move him to A tier. I'm not going to, but I want to move Tim Duncan to A tier. Cat up next, C tier. The problem with Karl-Anthony Towns is his release. Genuinely, like stat badge-wise, the card looks good. He stretches the court. His defense isn't bad. It just comes down to his release. I feel like ever since, 2K has made Cat's release what it is, it's not any worse than it has been in the past. Cat's just always had a release that's just not great. That's just the genuine truth of Karl-Anthony Towns. I wish I could be higher with the card because y'all know I like Cat in real life. He's put up some big numbers in New York recently. I just simply can't be any higher on the card, although I really wish I could. That's going to wrap it up for our center tier list. I need to know your guys' thoughts on it down below in the comments. Who was I too high on? Who was I too low on? Is there anybody I left off the list that should have been included? Let me know all those things. Because like I said, these lists are tough to do. There's certain cards I wish I could put higher. But again, even with like a Tim Duncan, I don't want to let my personal bias get in the way. Although I personally have just much success with Tim Duncan as I did with D-Rob. And so those are the tough things for me. Like I realize D-Rob's probably better, but I have just as much success with Tim Duncan. So those are the things that I need you guys to help me on. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.